case there's no intro, the FRV video, no matter how I cut it, was going to be a shorter side note. Here's all my quick things that were very sporadic, and who knows if I can actually put it together. But on the Mech video, which did really well, by the way, thank you, there was a comment basically saying, could listen to me rant for an hour, and I already had some audio prep. I wasn't sure about making the FRV video, but now I am. Okay, I'm gonna be quick as fuck because I would really like to eat my lunch, and it's definitely been sitting out probably a way too long. So we're going to speed run this, and I already did mech variants. We're gonna record the FRV upgrades.
Deploying replacement.
This is gonna be about the FRV and just different ideas I have for it. One of them could just be it's a monster truck. Let me have some customization upgrades for my fucking stratagems, please. Let's get into it. Like the mechs, I think we could tweak the fast recon vehicle, or FRV. First, the number one thing for customization is changing the Top Gun out with other weapons. Be it grenade launcher, flamethrower, which would absolutely be terrible, whatever. It could even be blank, like just nothing there, just a mount, and then you can put your heavy weapon in it and detach the heavy weapon to take it to go, which could also just be an upgrade, is that you can detach the heavy machine gun and take it on the go too. But ignoring that, I really think having an upgrade or a customization option to either change the weapon or make it so you can detach and attach different heavy weapons would be fun. It still has to be manually controlled, but you could have a variant that is like an automatic one. A shield generator could be really fun for specifically dealing with the bot cannon towers, although it's going to ragdoll you like crazy, but you don't instantly die, which could be good at least, but whatever. No Top Gun at all, but you have an extra carry slot, either for items, extra weapons, bring my Seaf friends with me, whatever. Also, and this can kind of go along with that carry slot, I just called it a holder spot. They can kind of mix in between, so whatever, which has a hook for like backpacks, SSDs, weapons, I said barrels for some reason. Oh, like explosive barrels, just whatever, and it just carries it basically. So you can put extra items there, whatever. Adjusting the driving system as an upgrade would be nice. Like, right now it's a weird auto manual thing, so make changes to tweak it to your liking, where it's always automatic, or it's always manual and it's more intuitive. Just something, maybe a power steering so it's easier to control. Another one would be, so you remove the Top Gun, you have a seat now that someone sits in, it's a rear seat, but it also has a supply area, which acts like a resupply and will have about 4 containers worth of resupply, so it's a resupply inside of it too. 4x4, so it's even more off-road capability and even more ground clearance from what it currently has. Just like I said earlier, give me a monster truck or an overcompensation truck basically. Just let me drive normal or even lower to the ground, being able to adjust your height and your 4x4 level. Like maybe you have one that's better for urban missions and it's more maneuverable, really stuck to the ground. The 4x4 one is massive. It's slower, but you can easily go over terrain without flying 100 feet in the air. Next one I called Seeker Swarm. So the back, you lose a seat and a gun, but it becomes a giant container for a swarm of those little Seeker drones, those grenades. So either the driver or the passenger riding shotgun will activate it, and then it will send all those into the air, or at least like, let's say there's 20 of them, it'll send like 5 at a time, and they all hit different targets. Honestly, for the hell of it, we could turn it into a half track, or just give it tank tracks, and it could be like the snow ones where it's 2 just giant big, 2 big tank tracks, or 4 trapezoid ones for each wheel, and it goes way slower, but it's really good for off-roading, doesn't move easily, maybe has more health and stuff. There's a lot that could be done with it. Just in general, customization is a bit harder for ideas coming up with this thing, as it's mainly going to be the Top Gun, and there's some other more like, I have more upgrade ideas for this vehicle, but anyways, let's be done with customization. Let's go into upgrades. Heavy chassis keeps you more planted, can risk more fall damage. Oh yeah, you can risk more fall damage when moving fast. This could be customization as for a lighter frame instead. But in general, it could either just keep you more planted or increase the health of it if it's just a plain upgrade. Yeah. Shock absorption, reduce damage from ragdolls, speed, etc. So in other words, sometimes you hit hard and then you take damage or you ragdoll. The shock absorption would help for bottoming out, and if you hit something, you take a little bit less damage. Better traction for the tires is definitely an upgrade I would so spend my samples on. A better engine. The Top Gun turning radius, which I'm guessing either there's something with an angle I forgot when I wrote this because it was more of an impromptu thing, or it was most likely the speed, being able to turn faster. This one's just for fun. There's no good reason. Nitro boost. I push the melee cane instead of a horn. I get a little afterburner and jump off stuff. The next one I called was planted. It keeps you even more planted than the heavy chassis. It's kind of the same thing, but maybe no HP change or armor. With more mass, make it harder to roll. And if you do, its heavier center of mass also helps it flip back up. Kind of like the electric vehicles. A lot of them tend, because of the heavy battery, to land back how they're supposed to. Smoke grenade launcher, just like I mentioned for the mechs, shoots out smoke for cover. Which also, that gave me another idea just off the top of my head. Scrambler makes it harder for cannon towers and auto cannon towers to target you. You activate it from far away, they can't target you at all. If they're up close and can see you, they reduce their accuracy, let's say by 50 or 25%. Next, flotation device. It can survive in the water better, or it could just drive right through shallow water with no problem. Or it's going to still force you out, but it floats, giving you a chance to jump to shore or jump on it briefly before it sinks. As I mentioned earlier, auto turret, no person required, and you could still have a person take over. This could be a customized thing too, but let's say I have the machine gun's auto turret and it automatically fires, but you can turn it on and off, or you can have a person manually control it. I'm out of ideas. I can't really think of a whole bunch for this thing, so you could put a front grill on a thing or spikes on the front or flames or whatever you want. You can make it look like a hot rod. We can do that for customization, but I'm out of ideas, so tell me yours. I'll come up with other new vehicles another time. This is one I want to be more focused than the mech one. I lied. Everyone liked the mech video, so here's more FRV ideas that I forcefully dragged out of my brain. Came up with them on the fly, including new vehicle ideas. Hover FRV, be it on special island water missions with that style of hovercraft of the like modern ones we have today, or future floaty ones that let you actually hover and do sick jumps off of terrain, like off the ground. That would just be fun. You're just changing the wheels basically to either a big floaty thingy or little pads that go boom, 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 boom and make you float. Gun ports. So the Helldivers don't actually have to stick out the window to fire and can fire from inside the vehicle whilst they're ADSing. Although you probably don't have a good viewport, whatever. There's a real life example of these too. Melee door slam. State of Decay style. I don't think I need to say more than that, honestly. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Flat tire and replacing it. Oh yeah, this was just a fun thing, be it from a certain environmental thing, or it could just happen randomly, but your tire pops and then you have to replace it, like a mini game. That's just to make everyone's day worse, that was all. Armor plates for the rear gun, at least on the MG. I don't remember if I actually said this earlier when recording, but a lot of our vehicles today will have at least an armor plate in the front usually, so I would like that around the gun, if not surrounding more, especially if more of the vehicle's armored. Having them be armored would be awesome. Hedge cutters, like World War II Shermans. This would be able to help go through vegetation without breaking the vehicle, but also just look cool and deal extra damage if you hit an enemy. Anti-tank emplacement, Battlefield 5 trailer style. So this actually goes into another idea, but I'll start with the first one. First one, just like Battlefield 5, where you could tow around field guns. I would love to be able to tow around a field gun looking style anti-tank emplacement or heavy machine gun. Also, there was a SAM site variant as well that you put down like a little miniature SAM site for aerial enemies. Maybe could take out just one or two dropships, whatever. And that actually gave me another one of taking the HMG, not the one that it currently has, but this Hellpod version and the anti-tank emplacement Hellpod, and basically just putting it where the rear gun is and replacing that heavy machine gun up there. Just stick a Hellpod in there and have it come down with it. Next is a SAM FRV. It replaces that with a SAM launcher, be it auto or man controlled, does not matter. Auto would be sick though. Then we have a jammer FRV that you have to play a minigame for, but then for 5 minutes in its radius, it jams enemies from calling reinforcements. the radius wouldn't be super big. And my cousin had a really fun idea is if you're too close to it, it's like dealing radiation damage to you constantly, especially if it's after X amount of time or whatever. I think that could be really fun. RC1. So you ping where you want it to go, and then it just drives away and acts like a distraction. Maybe throw a hell bomb on top of it for fun. Bailout roll. I would love if you're going fast enough, you could bail out and like roll on the ground to try to reduce some of the damage. Super just fun random thing. A repair and supply arm. So my idea was it looked like the MRAP bomb disposal arm from those armored vehicles, but instead it repairs mechs or other vehicles and can resupply them. Maybe to control it, you have a console on the outside of the vehicle though. This next one is not an FRV at all technically, but ATV. And so instead of dropping one FRV, the Pelican drops 4 ATVs. Man, I'm running out of ideas. Time for some more stupidity instead. Honestly, we're going off the deep end here. We're going to get really crazy with some of these. Chainswords everywhere. Chainsword grill. So just take the front ram grill and make it chainswords. I mean, it's just fun and stupid. There's no other thing for it. Next one is mine laying poops. So the FRV poops mines as it drives. That's it, and they're like single ones. I could see this being both fun, great, and terrible at the same time. Double turret, one driver and passenger. So the first idea is you have 2 levels. One weapon is higher on the current one, and then you have another one that only has, instead of 360, 180 degrees at the front, but it's also exposed just like it. And then a variant of that would be you have the normal rear turret, but then inside the seats have liberators that can be controlled from the windows, and then you have an HMG, or some sort of heavy weapon, in the passenger, like a pinto weapon on a tank. My friend mentioned the Rook, which is a real SWAT vehicle. Yeah. Give me a skid steer with a grenade launcher on it. Sure. Next one is something like the M8 Greyhound. If we could put an armored autocannon turret on top, well, just where the current rear-mounted weapon is, I would love that. Or just give me an actual M8 Greyhound or a light armored vehicle like that, less of a scout vehicle like the FRV, because that's really what it actually is. I actually have a note here when I said M8 Greyhound. I said, good luck explaining and sounding coherent, me. Haha, future me. Well, I did better than I expected. My next, I think this is what I was relating for. Bradley but baby. Not but baby, but a baby. So it's like the Bradley armored vehicle, infantry fighting vehicle, APC, whatever, but mini. Like Greyhound size. Yeah, I'm really running out of ideas here. Not FRVs, but give me civilian vehicle. Wait, sorry. It's in the ROTC voice. Not an FRV civvy, but I need a civilian vehicle to get around properly. Basically, just sometimes on the map, have one of the civilian vehicles be drivable. Or honestly, that gives me more ideas of like a mech meant for construction that we can control, like, or just a skid steer or a power loader. A skid steer or power loader XO could be really fun that you could melee with. I had this in all cap. Forklift! I just want to drive the forklift, honestly. That's like, I mean, hasn't anyone in a game looked at the forklift and wanted to drive it? Clearly, we are not certified as Helldivers, but if we could go through a mission or minigame to become certified, can I please, on at least some missions, drive the forklift? Oh, actually a good one, and not my pure tism-wism autisms of randomness, and not just purely random stupidity, but floodlights. Honestly, just floodlights. So if my brightness is too low, I can turn on a large floodlights and see maybe even add a spotlight I can control as the passenger or the one for the rear gunner. It's super long range, you can see. Honestly, yeah, that one wouldn't be bad. Spike tires, like the ones you see on some diesel trucks, but it hurts enemies or in zombie movies. Rocket truck, like the World War II rocket trucks, not this rocket truck, I meant this rocket truck. This could also be like an artillery barrage, even if it's only 2 people, just being able to control that. This doesn't have to be an FRV, honestly. We're officially getting out of FRV territory. We're just getting into random vehicles at this point. This could also just be a sentry, now that I think about it. We have the rocket sentry, but it fires straight, but using one as an artillery, like the mortar, would be pretty nice. That also got into the idea of AA truck. So it has flak shells meant for air, but shreds ground targets as well. And while we're at it, give the bots a faster mobile vehicle meant for recon that's similar to the FRV, but like smaller, like a more condensed version. Maybe less weapons or has no weapons, unless on like harder levels. But I think the bots could use something that's like a 3-man little in a sense, an FRV, like the less armored FRV. I'm trying to think of the example of those, kind of like a Ranger Polaris, or ones from like Call of Duty Warzone. You've seen them around. You know what I'm talking about if you played Call of Duty. Also have more notes for that. Termite equivalent is a bug that carries bugs and shoots bile at you. I know for a fact I have that in a note somewhere else of like a spawner thing from like Halo Wars 2.
I am a Senate.
Oh, this one was fun. Illuminant can have 1 or 2 variants of a small hovercraft, like a mini warp ship. Kind of looks like a clown car for its sizing, at least, because it looks kind of like small and disproportionate, but it's a little floating thing, and it has 1 to 2 overseers inside of it. The first variant is lower to the ground. It's more just barely hovering off the ground. Maybe it has like some sort of heavy laser cannon or machine gun that they can control while the other moves. And then the other variant, like a mini, that's Senate, floating Senate thing from Star Wars for Crescent Overseers or the flying ones, and it flies high and one of them can jump down or bombard you while in the air. And honestly, I'm gotten so off topic, I gotta stop myself. I'm not even talking about FRVs anymore. Bye! If you want more of these random videos, I literally have like 5 different documents full of missions, adjustments, enemies, more enemies. Why do we not have a mortar mission for the bugs, and why don't the bots have mobile mortars? And no, okay, I'm leaving.